कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय हरये परमात्मने प्रणतः क्लेशनाशाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः। रामानुजतया पात्रं ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणं श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यं वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम्। यो नित्यमच्युतपदाम्बुजयुग्मरुग्म व्यामोहतस्तदितराणि तृणाय मेने अस्मद्गुरोर्भगवतोऽस्य दयैकसिन्धोः रामानुजस्य चरणौ शरणं प्रपद्ये। So with prayers at the lotus feet of the Acharyas, let us start with our discussion for today. So we have seen up to the 34th shloka in the previous satsang. So today we will take up shloka number 35 and 36. So here Krishna has been explaining to Arjuna about what are the ill effects or the negative outcomes if Arjuna does not fight, how it will dent his image as a Kshatriya. So in the 35th shloka, Lord Krishna is continuing. Bhayadrana tu paratam mamsyante tvam maharathaha yesham chatvam bahumato bhutva yasyasi laghavam. Which means the great generals who hold you in high esteem will think that you fled from the battlefield out of fear, and thus they will lose their respect for you. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that if you don't fight and you give up this fight, then all the Maharathis who are there, the great warriors, the great generals who are there in this Yuddha, now till now they have been holding you in high esteem. They have a very good image about you. They have a good impression about your capabilities. Now if you say you are not going to fight, they will all think that you ran away from this battlefield because of fear, because you felt incapable of fighting. And because of that, they will lose whatever respect they have for you. So here the Acharyas explain that in the past shloka, we saw in the previous shloka that Krishna was trying to tell Arjuna that if you behave in this way by saying you will not fight and you throw down your weapons and you go away from this battle, then you will only get a kirti. You will be inglorious. You will lose all your fame and you will be considered in a bad light. So Krishna, now Arjuna's question in the mind, of course, he's not speaking it loud, but the query in Arjuna's mind here is that, see, I am trying to be a good person. I want to follow the path of ahimsa. I don't want to hurt these other people. I am saying that I don't want to kill anybody in this war. And because I don't want to hurt others, I am doing a good thing. So although they are trying to be bad to me by fighting with me, but I am trying to do good to them. So that is a quality which is very superior. So it should actually, people should glorify me for that. How is Krishna telling why it is told that I will get a kirti, I will become inglorious by doing such an action? That is the question in Arjuna's mind. So Krishna's explanation is that maybe people like Bhishma and Drona will understand what is your intention. They will be able to gauge that you are being, motivated by compassion or by feeling bad, by having karuna for the others. But the Kauravas, your cousins, Karna, and all these people who are having ill will towards you, they will not understand this intention of yours. And they will spread the wrong message about you. They will do dushprachara about you. They will cast a doubt on your capabilities. Right? Now, why that is going to be so bad? Because so far, all the events that have taken place in the Mahabharata, we know that the Kauravas have always been using unfair means. They have always been cheating, right? And yet, although they did all these things, so far they have not had an opportunity to talk bad about the Pandavas, about Arjuna also, and in general about the Pandavas. They have not had an opportunity where the Pandavas have done anything wrong. So they can point fingers at them and they can pull them down, or they can, try to make them slip by quoting some example where the Pandavas have behaved in a wrong way. So far, although the Kauravas used wrong means, they could not cast a negative impression on the Pandavas. They could not say anything about the capabilities of Arjuna because the whole world knew how capable Arjuna was. They knew about him getting the astras from Indra, from Shiva. They know about all the great achievements of Arjuna. But now, if Arjuna, that same Arjuna, runs away from the battlefield, these Kauravas will feel very happy because they have got a chance now to brand Arjuna as a coward. They will say, okay, so far, whatever he did, it was okay. He managed. But now, when all of us were there, he was so scared of fighting with us that he ran away from the battlefield. And they will give him a bad name. So here Ramanujacharya Swami explains that how the viewpoint that people take about somebody's action depends on how capable actually that person is. Let us say I am a person and I have a situation where I have to fight against an enemy. Now, if I am a Veera, I am a courageous warrior, okay, I am a Veera person. Now, if that person who is my enemy, the person who is my opponent, if that person is not capable, I am a highly qualified warrior, and the person who has come to fight against me is incapable. And in such a situation, if I say he is incapable and therefore I want to spare him and I don't want to fight against him, then people will take me in a positive way. Just 1 minute, please. I'm sorry about that. There was somebody who is ill who has called me. Yeah. So now Krishna is trying to explain, or I was talking about Swami Ramanujacharya's explanation, isn't it? So if I am a capable person, highly capable, courageous warrior, and the opponent who comes to fight against me is incapable, and then I say, okay, I will forget this fight because if I fight, definitely that person is going to get killed. So, in such a situation, people will praise my action. They will say, see how compassionate this warrior is. He is so capable, but he is having pity on that other person. And that is the reason why he is not going into the fight. But suppose I am capable and the person who comes to fight with me is also very capable. And in such a situation, I say, I don't want to fight. Then automatically what will happen? People will brand me as someone who is scared. They will say, I am not confident of my capabilities and I am a coward. And that is why, because I can't face the enemy, I'm running away from the fight. So, this thing that whether somebody is seen as being compassionate or somebody is seen as being a coward and running away from what they should be doing, there is a very thin line. So, now Krishna is trying to caution Arjuna that you need to take this factor into account. You are saying you don't want to fight the Kauravas because you are having compassion on them. But they will not understand that. They will say you are scared by seeing their army. They will say that you are scared that you will lose your life in the fight. They will say that you are incapable of fighting against all the Maharathas on their side. And they will spread this wrong message about you. Now Arjuna is saying, so what? Let them do whatever they want. I know for my mind, I'm clear, I know my capabilities. I'm not bothered whatever the Kauravas do. If Arjuna says like that, then Krishna is telling him further and explaining more in detail now that Arjuna, this stand that you are saying, that you are not bothered, let them say whatever they want. If you are saying this, it is not correct for you being in the position in which you are to say this. Now, why is this? Now, Arjuna and the Pandavas, they are Kshatriyas. They are part of the ruling clan. So, they are the Raja. Now, they are not any ordinary citizen who can say that, okay, I will do whatever comes to my mind, and I'm not going to be bothered. Let anybody say whatever they want. That kind of freedom an ordinary person has. But being a Raja, being a ruler, Arjuna cannot afford to take this stand. As a Kshatriya, as a Raja, it is what is his duty? To protect the Praja. So if he does not do that duty of protecting the Praja, those praja are dependent on him only for protection. So then it becomes that he is not fulfilling his responsibility. We have already seen in the previous shlokas how this attitude of not protecting the praja who are dependent on you is doing droha for dharma. It is equivalent to giving up your dharma. So Krishna is telling Arjuna that you cannot say that you are not bothered what they think, what they do, and what they spread about you. As a Raja, you are bound. Now we may think Arjuna was not the Raja, Yudhishthira became the Raja, but whatever, they are in that class of ruling people, isn't it? And as the brothers, they all took turns in managing the affairs. I mean, they had some role in managing the Rajya. So Arjuna belongs to that same category of being the Raja and not just ordinary Praja. So it is his duty to protect the Praja. So if he fails to do that, then it will be not following whatever is his dharma. So here that is why Krishna is trying to convince Arjuna that all the people who are right now holding you in high esteem, they will think you ran out of this battlefield out of fear. And because of that, they will lose all respect for you. Next, in the 36th shloka, he is making it, rubbing in this concept even more strongly. Krishna is telling Arjuna what all will happen, how all they will humiliate him. So Krishna says, Avachyavadamscha bahun vadishyanti tava hitaha nindantastava samarthyam tato dukkhatarannukim. So Krishna is saying, your enemies, O Arjuna, your enemies will defame you. They will give you a bad name. They will humiliate you. They will insult you. How? With unkind words. They will talk rudely about you. They will have rude language to speak about you. Disparaging your might. Disparaging means putting down or condemning or looking down upon your might, your qualities which you are having. So what could be more painful for you than that? Again, we must remember what Krishna had told in the previous shlokas, that for a Kshatriya, fighting in a Dharma Yuddha is his Dharma. And having somebody cast a wrong impression on that is the worst thing that can happen to the Kshatriya. So here, we must assume that here again, Arjuna is not yet convinced. He says, let them say whatever, what it matters, what the Kauravas say about me. The people will know, no? So what, let the Kauravas say whatever they want. So Krishna is trying to explain that how we must view, how Arjuna should look at this whole thing of people talking negatively about him. Now, in the previous shloka, it was told that because you are belonging to Raja category, you cannot have such a stand. Now Krishna is saying that okay, even as an individual, forget this whole thing about Raja, Praja, and all that. But as an individual also, should you be bothered about what other people are saying? It depends on who is saying that particular negative thing. So what is their role in our life? Those people who are commenting negatively about us, what is their role in our life? Now, if somebody who is your guru, somebody who is elder to you, someone who wishes good for you, someone who has your good at heart, if such well-wishers criticize you, then you must pay a lot of attention to what they are saying. You must give a lot of value to what they are telling, because there will be something in their words for you to change in yourself. There will be something of value which you can adopt in your life, and by applying that, whatever criticism they are telling that you are doing wrong like this is where you are going wrong. If they tell you such things, then you must give a lot of value to that, and from that you have to learn something, adopt in your life, and you will grow as an individual. But if there is somebody who is criticizing you purely out of jealousy, if there is somebody who is criticizing you purely out of ill will because they wish bad for you, now in such cases, we must not attach the same value to their words. In fact, we must be very cautious about what is their intention. So, many times we think that doing sadhana means that we just keep quiet whatever people say. We just keep quiet whatever happens in our life. Here, we need to have a little more viveka, a little more discrimination. Who is criticizing me and my actions? What is their purpose of criticizing me and my action? Is the criticism having something of value for me to learn and change in myself? Is the criticism coming out of wishing good for me? Is the criticism coming just because they are jealous of me? In fact, in Adhyatmic terms, when we say jealousy, that quality of asuya, it is described as finding some particular quality which is actually good in somebody, but taking that as a negative quality. So that is the quality of asuya, that something is there good in another person. And for that thing which is good in them, you criticize them, right? So like this, there are many people who criticize us because they don't like us. There are people who will criticize us because they want bad for us. Or there are people who are jealous of us. And in such cases, if they criticize us, then we need to really be cautious. We need to think, what is their intention in criticizing me? And if the intention is not a good one, then we are free to not take their criticism. So now Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna that these Kauravas, whatever they are going to talk negatively about you, they will say you ran away from the battlefield. They will call you a coward. They will say you are an incapable yodha. They will say you are not at all a veera. So all these things, when they talk about you, what is their intention? Is it for valuable for you? Is it something which has the truth in it? Or is it out of ill will to pull you down, just to make fun of you and to, you know, take pleasure when you are falling down? What is their intention? Definitely, it is not to do good to you. So their criticism will come only out of ill will for you. So, what will happen now when they criticize you like this? After some time, Krishna is explaining to Arjuna. Now, when Kauravas criticize like this, now right now Arjuna is saying, so what? Let them say whatever they want. I am not bothered. But after some time, what will happen? That natural Kshatriya quality which is there in Arjuna will not let him sit quietly, isn't it? He will feel, for somebody as great a warrior as Arjuna, it's going to be very difficult to take criticism from someone who is not of his capability, isn't it? Many times we say, right, that when somebody criticizes us, we say that person themselves is not capable. What are they criticizing me? If there's somebody who has better ability than me, maybe somewhere I will at least pay attention to what they're saying. But if there's someone who is below my level, definitely I'm not going to be able to keep quiet. I'll say, who is that person to talk about me? And then if Arjuna, when he starts feeling like this, what is going to happen now? He will feel instigated and motivated to fight. But that motivation to fight, where it is coming from? It is coming from the sense of insult, personal insult, and it is going to come out of anger because they have what you say slandered him, or they have given a negative impression about his personal capability. So in that situation, Arjuna will feel instigated to fight. Now Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna that you are going to fight in any way. Now, right now, if you fight without going through all that process, you are going to be fighting because you have understood that this is dharma yuddha and fighting is your dharma. But if you don't fight now, and then they go around spreading negative things about you, and then you feel insulted, and out of that insult and anger you go and fight, then it is no longer going to be a dharma yuddha. Then you are fighting for your petty personal sense of insult. So rather than going to that stage, it is better that right now itself you should understand this is dharma yuddha and fight because you want to participate in the dharma yuddha, because it is your duty as a kshatriya to fight. So fight for this. You are anyway going to fight. Either you can fight because it is a dharma yuddha, or you can fight because it is for your personal insult. So as a person who has a great sense of dharma, you should be fighting because it is your dharma. not out of feeling that you are personally being insulted. That should not be your motivation to fight. So this is what Krishna is trying to explain to Arjuna. And that is why he's going on telling him that they will defame you, they will humiliate you, they will say all this. And what is going to be more painful for you? That is the most painful thing for a Kshatriya. So, but don't go to that stage. Now itself, you fight. Now, here the Acharyas try to explain to us that if we look at this in a way, this is quite in contrast, isn't it? What Krishna is telling Arjuna to do is quite in contrast with what he himself did. Now, we know that Krishna, after spending his childhood in Gokul, Vrindavan, and all those places, he came to Mathura. Then he fought, and I mean, he killed Kamsa. Then he rescued his parents from the jail. After that, he went and he did Abhyasa. He went to the Gurukula of Sandipani Guru. Then after that, he was living in Mathura. But this Jarasandha's daughters were married to Kamsa. So because they became widowed, Jarasandha had a lot of anger on Krishna because Krishna is the one who killed Kamsa, his son-in-law. So Jarasandha wanted to take revenge. So Jarasandha attacked Mathura 17 times. He came first time, Krishna and Balarama and their army defeated Jarasandha. He ran back. Again, he came a second time. Again, he was defeated. Like this, 17 times Jarasandha had launched an attack on Mathura. And every time Krishna subdued him, vanquished him, and sent him back, running for his life. So at the end of that, when the 18th time Jarasandha was preparing to attack Mathura, there was also another negative entity called Kalayavana who was also planning to attack Mathura. At that time, Krishna decided that now this is becoming too troublesome for the people of Mathura. The animosity, the hostility is between Jarasandha and Krishna. Already Krishna has defeated him 17 times. But again Jarasandha is coming and it is taking a toll on the people of Mathura. So he decided that we will not fight this time, and he created this whole city of Dwaraka, which is in Gujarat on the coast, on the sea coast. And he miraculously transported all the people from Mathura to Dwaraka. We know that story. Now, so if you look at this incident in Krishna's life and you compare it with what he is advising to Arjuna now, somebody may say that Krishna himself ran away from the fight with Jarasandha. And here he is telling Arjuna, you should not run away from the fight. So what is the logic in that? How can Krishna tell like this when he himself has run away from the battlefield? Isn't it? People will talk like that. So here, in fact, in Dwaraka, there are different places, there are different temples dedicated to Lord Krishna, to Rukmini and all of them there. In one of those temples, there is one name which is given to Lord Krishna. He is called as Ranachod Rai. Rana means battle. Chod, somebody who has left, somebody who has given up. Rai, the Lord who gave up the battle. So he is called as Ranachod Rai. That very quality which in Arjuna now Krishna is telling is bad, we are glorifying that quality in Krishna. So how we can, correlate these two things? How can we come to some kind of an understanding? Krishna himself ran away from the Yuddha with Jarasandha. And here he is telling Arjuna, you should not run away. What is the secret in that? So here we can understand two things. The first thing is Krishna is Lord himself. So whatever actions Krishna is taking, they are completely out of the maryada or the limits which are there for human actions. So the laws of human action do not apply to the Lord. So he is totally in a different category. And that is why the human beings cannot imitate the Lord's action. Now, Arjuna cannot say that Krishna himself ran away from the battle. When he has run away from the battle, why should I stay and fight? Because the Lord is different. Arjuna is different. He is a human being. So he cannot try to imitate whatever Krishna did. The more important factor here is that when did Krishna run away from the battle? After having fought Jarasandha 17 times and defeating him. So there was no doubt absolutely about the capability of Krishna. But for Arjuna, this is the first battle where he is situated against the Kauravas. So here he has to prove his mettle. This is the first test for him. He may have fought against other people, he may have destroyed other enemies. All that is not anything compared to this great army of the Kaurava side, which has come onto the battlefield. So for Arjuna, this is the first battle. And here he has to fight to prove that he is a capable warrior indeed. So we cannot compare the actions of Krishna against Jarasandha in setting up Dwaraka and running away from Jarasandha and what Arjuna is going through in this situation. So this is how we must understand these acts of Krishna. Now, another thing I would like to mention here is about this point that we say that human beings must not try to imitate the Lord's actions. Now, there are a lot of people who talk, they ridicule certain leelas of the Lord, of Lord Krishna. They make fun, or they will say, like, there are people, very wrong, very sad, um, but we must talk about it also. There are people who will, be having multiple relationships. There will be men who will be in multiple relationships with many women. And then they will say, so what? Krishna also was having relationships like that with the gopis. Now, first of all, it is very wrong of us to see the Lord's actions in that light, because that is a totally different stage of, the Lord. And as we have already seen in the previous satsangs, the gopis were in fact the Rishi Munis who had come from the previous Rama Avatara here to experience the joy and the bliss of being in the Lord's company. So that whatever human beings seek some kind of physical relationship with other human beings cannot be equated to the spiritual bliss which is there in the Lord's interaction with the gopis, right? Now, those people who are saying all these things, they are saying, like Krishna, I am also like this. Now, if you want to have that kind of, if you think that you are also going to be like Krishna and how he was with the gopis, then are these people able to do all the other acts that Krishna was able to do? Can they lift a Govardhana Giri on their little finger? Hmm? Can they kill all the asuras like how Krishna did? If they have those capabilities also, then they can equate themselves to Krishna. But you don't have any capabilities like the Lord, but you will take some small part, distort it completely, and present it in a mistaken way and try to cast a slur on the Lord's action. So, this is something which is totally very bad, and there is nothing you can justify such kind of actions. So, we must remember the Lord is the Lord. The rules of this world do not apply to the Lord. He is the one, right? He is the one who is the um, creator, the sustainer, the destroyer. He is the one who owns this world. So he is not bound by whatever rules and laws apply to us in this world. So human beings cannot imitate the Lord's actions. So these are some of the things we must understand from these shlokas. Now, how we behave, what is the message for us in this situation, in this shlokas? So the first thing is Krishna was telling Arjuna that you are Raja, you are not ordinary person. So you cannot behave in such a way that people will cast a slur on you. You have to behave in such a way that you're going to protect your praja, right? So from that, for our life, what we can take, we have to behave in situations based on what is our status also. There may be times when, as an individual, I want to take a particular action. But if I'm in a particular kind of position where my actions are going to influence or have a impact on many people around me, I am in a position where my actions are going to be like seen like a role model for other people. Then I must consider that and act in such a way that it is good for everybody around me. So that is something we can also try and adopt. If it is something which affects only me as an individual, then the decision I take can be maybe decided by what is my personal outcome in that. But if there is a situation where, especially people who are in leadership positions, they are in a position where their actions will impact other people, the decisions they take will impact other people, then they must consider what is their position, how will their decision and action impact other people, what kind of a role model are they being, what kind of a message are they giving to others around us, around them. That should be an important consideration when we are taking some action. Second thing, never try to imitate the Lord's actions because we are not the Lord, right? We are a Jivatma. We are very much bound by whatever rules apply to this material world, and we cannot be like the Lord. Also, here we can try and understand that how this concept of the Bhagavad Gita, right? That whatever happens, our country's defense policy, we are not the category of people who go and fight wars. There are many people who say that India is always, like we are not fighting against others. We are only retaliating when somebody attacks us. We should be like other countries who are going and themselves going into the enemy's territory and killing them and, destroying them and like that. But we must understand that here, what is this teaching of the Gita? That if you are a strong person, then you can afford sometimes to try all possible methods. Now, even when it came to the Pandava and Kaurava Yuddha, it was not as if the war was the first thing that they talked about, isn't it? They did try to achieve peace. And when that peace failed, then when that offer of peace was rejected, then they went into the fight. And when they fought, then they fought very bravely. Similarly, our country's present day security policy, defense policy, whatever it may be, it is the whole, what you say, the nature of our country. Based on these very concepts which are there in our Sanatana Dharma, we are not the violent kind. We are not the kind who want violence for the sake of violence. We are not the kind of country who wants to, what you say, improve our materialistic standing. We are not the kind of country who runs after exploiting other people to get material riches. That is not at all in our DNA. As a country, our policy always is to get peace, to have peace. And that is why you may see that even with our neighbors, when although there will be on the one side fighting that goes on, why is the fighting going on? Because they have attacked us and we are retaliating back. Along with that, yet we never give up this, path of keeping the channel of peace talks open. We will always keep that channel also open. And that actually is because we are operating from a position of spiritual and moral strength. No doubt we are also militarily strong. We are much stronger than these enemies who are trying to attack us. But then the strength does not mean that you go and fight somebody who is incapable just to expand your territory. So that we can also try and see and understand in this viewpoint that how the concepts in our Sanatan Dharma are translating also into our policies in this world present day also. So that is all we have time for today. So here we have found in the shlokas that Krishna is trying to explain to Arjuna how if he is saying that he is not going to fight, then what are all the negative impacts of that on himself, on the society, and on people around him. And why as a Kshatriya, it is his duty to fight. Now in the next shloka, Krishna is going to actually say something to motivate Arjuna to take up some strong action. So we'll take that up in the next satsang. For now, let us stop here and express Kritagnyata. Let us offer gratitude, Kritagnyata, at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna and Guru for inspiring us to start and join this satsang. Let us pray for their blessings and grace to always be on us. So we're going to run out of time now. I hope all of you could understand whatever I explained in the satsang. If there is anything, question that you have, any doubts that you have, please send them on WhatsApp. We will take them up in some class. So thank you everybody for attending and namaskar. We will meet again in the next satsang. Thank you Zarnaji. Thank you Tulsi Ram Aure. Thank you Chudamani Mami. So everybody, we will meet up again in the next satsang. Namaskar.